I'm in a small island in southern Cambodia. It's kind of a stormy day, so it seems like a great time to make another one of these. Last time I made one of these, we left off when I was on my way to Vietnam, so that's where we're gonna start.
We're lost.
You don't have a map, our phone, or anything? Been here for like 30 minutes. It's going really well. When we landed in Hanoi, it was a complete disaster. We had planned out before that we were gonna take this bus, and for some reason the bus ended its route like halfway to our hostel. So we got dropped off like an hour and a half walk from where we were trying to go. Got a cab, thought we were getting ripped off because there were like 100,000 dong. So we were in a terrible mood until we got dropped off and I checked how much it was. It was only like $5, so our moods increased. But then we realized that we were still at like a 30-minute walk from our hostel. The guy had taken us to the wrong place. So by the time we finally got to where we were going, it had taken us like 4 hours from the airport, and it was originally supposed to take like 45 minutes. So Vietnam did not get off to a great start. After we arrived in Hanoi, we only ended up staying about one night, and then we headed on a boat cruise to Ha Giang Bay. On the cruise, we stayed on a private island where we slept outside on these sunbeds. Waking up was amazing as the sunrise hit the mountains and stuff. We went kayaking through the sea stacks. We also took a bike ride, took a hike to a lookout point, and we swam with bioluminescent plankton. We didn't get any of the plankton on film because GoPros suck in low light, so you'll just have to use your imagination for that part, but it was completely amazing. We were just geeking out the whole time and definitely one of the coolest things. But yeah, while we were on the cruise, we did a lot of swimming off the boat, and I taught Anna how to do a backflip. That was cool. Another thing that was interesting for me when we were on the cruise was I got my first taste of like actual socialism. While we were walking, our tour guide was talking about the environmental issues that Vietnam faced. And we talked for about 15 minutes, and I gave examples of how the USA was facing the same things. And we agreed that both countries had to work harder to fix the environment. And he ended the conversation by saying, Vietnam has less human rights, and that's why it's better than the United States. And I couldn't believe it for a second. I was sitting there as we were walking for like 15 minutes wondering, like, what is he talking about? How can he actually believe this? And then kind of dawned on me that he meant in a socialist economy, it's more of like you put the society in front of yourself as far as like these policies go. Like they're for the good of the society, not just human, like individual human rights, you know? So I think what he meant was that he thinks the Vietnam policies are better because they are more concerned with the society, and the human rights aspect is kind of put after that. So it's perceived to him to be less selfish than American policies, which we are all about like individual rights and like humanitarianism and all that. So it's just really interesting to see the different perspective there. After Ha Giang Bay, we left straight for Sapa, which is a small town in the mountains where we went on a trek to a village and stayed with a family in their house for the night. After that, we traveled north to do the Ha Giang motorcycle loop. It was wet, freezing, and we had a minor crash, but the views were worth it. Despite how freezing it was, I would say it's an experience you can't miss out on while you're in Vietnam. The views were just absolutely spectacular, and we had a blast exploring the caves and the lookout points along the way. After the loop, we hurried back to Hanoi so Anna could catch her flight home to Canada. We said a sad goodbye, and then I headed south to Ninh Binh. In Ninh Binh, I met up with my friend Davey, who I'd met a month earlier in Bangkok. We climbed a mountain, went to a huge pagoda, and went on a boat tour through some cool caves. After that, we left for Phong Nha. There we did more cave exploring, and by the time we left, we decided we had seen enough caves for a while. Seriously, we were in caves for like 5 days straight. Our next stop was Hue. There wasn't much to do there aside from an abandoned water park and a big citadel in the middle of the city, so we only stayed there for one night. After that, we left for Hoi An, where we spent Christmas. In Hoi An, I was reunited with Jess, Dan, Amelia, and Carla. The town was covered in decorations, but we had a bit of an untraditional Christmas. Like, 14 of us went out and bought these fruit suits, so we were covered from head to toe. We had bucket hats, t-shirts, and shorts, all of a matching fruit pattern. And we wore them everywhere, including the white elephant gift exchange that we did, and to the bars later that night. So, not your typical American Christmas, but it was a blast, so I'm not complaining. After Christmas, we hopped on a night bus to Saigon, where we spent one night, and then hopped on another bus that took us to Cambodia. But yeah, now I'm in Cambodia. I've already been to Phnom Penh and Siem Reap, where I went to the Killing Fields and Angkor Wat. I'm in the islands now in the south, but I'll talk about all that in the next episode, so it seems like a good place to leave off. It's the end of episode 2.